Here's a shot of my latest project. This is a 1958 19-foot Craft Capri, and it's going to get a total strip and refinish. And I'm just taking a little video here before I take all the hardware off. I just took a bunch of still pictures. So in the next step, I'm going to take all the hardware off, take some notes on like where the water line is, because that's all going to be gone. I'll take the interior out, go through the bilge, and check the bottom, because this is an original bottom. And then I'll just take all the hardware off and label it, store it. There's my new Kubota. I just got that the other day. It's an L3400, 34 horsepower diesel with a loader. That bucket will lift about 1,000 pounds in the bucket. I got it for moving boats and lifting things out of my pickup truck, lifting engines out of boats. There's a ballast box on the back. When you're using a loader, you need weight on the back. I've got about a little over 500 pounds on that back on a 3-point hitch. Fits in here pretty nice. Snowing out today. So there's the latest project. Okay, I'm going to do a quick update on the 1958 19-foot Craft Capri. Last video I made was I think the day after I got the boat. And I've got someone helping me now, so we've gone through the boat. We took the interior out, surveyed the bottom. This is an original bottom. Cleaned the bilge. There's a lot of oil, a lot of debris. Cleaned the bilge and applied 2 coats Smith's penetrating epoxy on the inside of the bilge, and then we're going to paint it brown. Someone painted this brown. It was originally burgundy like Chris Craft usually did, and someone painted over it brown, so we're just going to go with the brown to match that. And back by the engine here, the customer wanted the fuel tank removed and replaced, so I've got that out right now getting built. Took the all the seats out and the cushions, floor, and we shored up the bottom. This is, like I said, this is the original bottom, and there was one plank I had to take off. It was almost all the fasteners were broke where it connected to the keel, and it was hanging down, and the plank was kind of damaged, and this area right here was damaged too in the keel, and I've got a piece that I'm going to fit, that I've cut and going to glue in there. But I re-nailed all this inner ply back to the keel with silicon bronze nails. So this plank is ready to go now. But what I had Jay do was go through the entire bottom, and anywhere that the planks, I had him take a piece of wood and go through all the seams and press up, and anywhere that it bounced a little bit where it was loose, I had him expose the screws, 2 on either side of the seam, and if they were stripped, or usually they're broken, I had them take the old ones out and replace them. So we basically refastened what we could on the bottom, anywhere where it was bad. And then all along the keel, the garboard planks are notorious for the screws breaking. And they were, I'd say, probably 60% or more were broke. And I just had them replaced. We just went through and replaced them, put new screws in. I backed them all out. It's kind of dark over here, but all these are new silicon bronze screws where the old ones were. So we cleaned out the heads real good and then replaced those. Because when the boat works, all that force comes down right on both sides, and it moves, and those fasteners get broke over the years. So we went through and tightened some up, and then replaced the other ones. So you've got the frames, and you also have the intermediates. And a lot of the intermediate screws were loose or broke, so we went through and replaced those also. And I was real happy with how it come out. Everything tightened up real nice, all the screws. And in some cases, like this right here, I can't remember, the screw wasn't holding or something, so we just went with PM nuts, with a machine screw and PM nuts right through to the intermediates. Or actually, these are the intermediates. There's auxiliary frames, main frames, and intermediates. That's what these are. They're oak. So you can see some there. There's a new piece of oak put in with machine screws and PM nuts, speed nuts they call them. So this bottom's really not in that bad a shape. The chine, you can see where they started putting, I think they're called horse collars on the intermediate frames. They really help to hold that frame in. Otherwise they were just screwed into end grain, and those screws always usually broke or split the auxiliary frame. But the chines aren't blown out or anything like that. Let me see if I can get a light in here. Oh, you probably noticed this transom's off. I guess I didn't talk about that. I started out, I wanted to pull this bottom transom plank because I wanted to reseal the connection between the lower transom plank and the lower transom bow. And I had Jay back out all the screws holding these bottom planks in too, so I can get some caulk under there. And when I took that lower transom plank out, I discovered all this rot. This goes almost all the way through this lower transom bow, and the cheek also has a bunch of rot to it, and that kind of transferred to some of the ends of the planks. So then I had to take the top two planks off, which is a good thing I did. I was going to have to take them off anyway because it's weird. Sometimes they look just fine, but look at that. Now that looked like you would never really know it was there unless you really examined it, but it was, I mean, these corners just fell right off. And this is the top plank. It goes on here. But I don't know about the top two planks, but I know the bottom one was replaced. I could tell it was thicker. And they had some goofy stuff in here. They had a piece of tin connecting this frame to the lower transom bow, and they had steel screws in it. This batten isn't original, I could tell. So I think maybe the top two planks were even replaced. So I had to take those off. Now I'm going to have to rebuild this framework. I don't think I could save this. This is just, I mean, if I start digging that out, there's not going to be any structural integrity there. So I think I'm going to have to, there's a carriage bolt here. I can get at most of the carriage bolts, like this one I can get to. And all these, I took this top piece off, which is a good thing I did, because I'll show you that. This top, I don't know what you call it, but it's the top piece where the aft deck meets the top transom plank. It looks fine, right? But I wanted to take it off because there's some fasteners holding this frame into the transom cheek, and then found out that there's a bunch of rot in there all started, and that kind of transferred into the end grain of this piece. And this deck plank, there's some rot in it, so it kind of starts turning into, you just follow it until you can cut it all out, and then put new wood in. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to rebuild this framework, put new wood on. Since the boat's getting refinished, it's a good time to do it. So, and this is going to get bleached. I'm practicing on a couple of boards on how to do the blonde there. I think I got it down. I'll show you the board. It's pretty cool. It's the process that I've heard. I've never done it before, but I'm going to experiment. I think it's going to work out great. This is a piece of mahogany. That's what it looked like It's got that pinkish kind of hue to it. So I took it with bleach, 2-part bleach, mixed it together, applied that on there. You can see how it turned it real light. And then I mixed up my own yellow stain. And I went to the hardware store and got some yellow pigment. I'll show it over here. And I've got some old Craft Cordoba filler stain, which is kind of a neutral color. It's like tan. Where is it here? I don't know where the stain is, but, oh, here it is. It's kind of a sand color, Craft Cordoba filler stain. And I went and I got some yellow tint right from the hardware store and mixed it together, and look, it looks kind of like mustard actually. I'm just experimenting. I don't know if it needs to be lighter or darker, more yellow or not, but I think I'm on the right track because I took this old piece here and this is the aft spray rail, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but you can definitely see old stain. See that yellow right there? Now look at that. That's a pretty good match, I think. So I heard the one guy who told me this process, he said, you mix that stain and it looks almost like school bus yellow. It looks hideous. And then once you start varnishing it, it'll start turning that blonde, that golden blonde, which is what the inside of this boat is also. So I'm going to experiment with this board. I just stained it today. I'll let it dry, and I'll start applying varnish over it and see what it looks like. But I think I'm on the right track because this was definitely stained. You could see where there's bare wood and then the yellow stain. So that'll be kind of a cool process to learn how to do. So, and we also took the chine caps off, which I'm glad we did because they're in really good shape. But they're just dry. The bedding was real dry behind there. They just used old bedding compound and it dried out over the years. So that's kind of an easy fix. I did stop it, and this was also damaged. It had a bunch of big dents in it. But I stopped it here, which is under the water line. It's going to be painted because I don't know if it's necessary to really remove that whole thing because it's going to match real nice, the wood. I don't know, I haven't figured out if I'm going to actually remove that piece too, but I think this is kind of above the water right about there, so I think I'm just going to make a new piece, embed it probably in like Boat Life. But I had Jay go through and plug all the old screw holes with 1/8 inch dowel rod and then pare them down and sand it. So we're going through and sealing all the perimeter of the boat. The chine cap, this plank will be new in the back. The planks all along the keel were refastened, and these whole side planks, you can see there's a gap, but that's normal. All the experts will tell you do not caulk those with anything. And I was kind of tempted to put some Boat Life in there, but they're going to swell and tighten up, so I'm just going to leave them alone. I might maybe just scrape them and clean the insides out real delicately, but other than that, I think I'm just going to leave it. This boat will probably need a bottom in the future. It's an original bottom. They don't last forever, but we're just shoring it up right now, and all the work we're doing, it's not like it's going to be wasted or anything. If he wants to get a bottom in the future, he could do that. And behind this spray rail here, there was some rot that started because it wasn't really bedded properly. This is something that I don't really understand, but when a lot of people put these spray rails on, you see that line of bedding right down the middle? I mean, to me, that doesn't do anything. It's just, there's still a void behind there. So either don't put anything, which I don't think I would do, or completely fill that with bedding and then put it up against the boat, because that's a void where water is going to sit. And that's exactly what happened, and that's why it rotted this plank out. So I'm going to have to make new spray rails. So, but it's moving along good. I've got a new guy helping me. He's doing a great job. And he's starting to strip the boat. This varnish, it comes off really nice. It comes off like rubbery. And it doesn't take much heat to take it off. We also went through and stripped all the bottom paint, which there was a ton of bottom paint on this boat. And it was real thick. And it was flaking and it was coming off in layers. And really to survey the bottom and to get out all these screw heads, it was just easier to go through and strip the whole bottom of all the old bottom paint. But I'm real impressed with how the bottom looks. The shape of it is, it's in great shape. It's got nice, sometimes when boats aren't shored up right, they're, you know, the keels are all deformed and looks like a roller coaster, but this has really nice lines. The chine line is really nice. So it's definitely savable, and that's what we're doing. So the next step will be rebuild that transom, put that plank in up front, put the new chines on, and then take the rest of the hardware off and strip it, dig these deck seams out, and start refinishing it. But it's a cool boat. It's great lines, 19-foot Craft Capri. All right.